Most people who feel anxious about giving a presentation in a professional setting miss a very important step that we are going to talk about in this conversation. And I promise when people take this important step, they feel a lot more confident about speaking in professional settings, giving presentations at work or giving presentations in the community for their business. I know you want to know what this important step is. I'll tell you, but first, let me tell you who I am and why you can trust me with this information. If this is your first time encountering me, I am Dr. Shalonda Jones. I am a communication scholar and a public speaking coach. I specialize in helping professionals learn to transform whatever concerns they have with public speaking into confidence. If you've been with me before, welcome back. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button to let me know this information is helpful to you. Plus, when you join our community by subscribing to this channel, hitting the thumbs up button, or making comments below, that subtle action sends a powerful message to your brain that you're ready to overcome public speaking anxiety. That said, in our conversation today, you and I will talk about how important self-care is before, during, and after your presentation to helping you feel confident about giving your speech. I am huge on giving you easy-to-do techniques that do not cost any money. You can do them anytime, anywhere, and they are scientifically proven to work. This conversation is no different. You will have those kinds of techniques by the time our conversation is over. Let's start with the self-care techniques before the presentation to help manage public speaking anxiety. Self-care practices should begin 24 hours prior to the presentation. For example, if you are scheduled to give a presentation at work Monday, 10 o'clock a.m., the self-care practices should start as close to 10 o'clock a.m. on Sunday as possible. The reason it is important to start with your self-care practices 24 hours before your presentation is because this will help to reduce the amount of cortisol or stress hormones released in your body, which in turn promotes a higher level of calmness and confidence. It also helps to improve your sleep quality, which again helps you to feel rested and replenished for your presentation. Third, it helps to increase your focus, which will reduce the chances of losing your train of thought, spiraling into self-doubt,
and wanting to get the presentation over with.
That's why it's important to start your self-care practices 24 hours prior to your presentation. So what can you do starting 24 hours before your presentation that won't take up too much of your time? Because yes, we're all busy and we can't ideally just stop what we're doing to engage in 24 hours of self-care practices. Well, I am going to share with you now 3 really easy things that will not disrupt your day, but will start your self-care routine to boost your confidence about giving your presentation the next day. So number 1, the first thing you'll do as close to 24 hours as possible from your presentation is send yourself a word of encouragement. Since most people have a cell phone, it's as simple as taking out your cell phone, sending yourself a quick text message, or recording a voice note telling yourself you're going to do a great job. You know how you may have a family member or a close friend who has confided in you and told you, hey, look, I have this important task coming up and I'm feeling a little bit unsure about how I will perform. To be supportive, you might send them a message saying, hey, you got this. I'm excited for you. You're going to do a great job. Well, you will do the same thing for yourself. As close to 24 hours as you can, send yourself a message. Even if you're in a place where you cannot use your cell phone, grab something to write with, something to write on, send yourself a quick short note. The note does not have to be long. Simple as, you are going to do a great job tomorrow. I did leave a note for you in a caption. If you cannot think of what to say, feel free to use the note I left for you in the caption. Sending that note to yourself is a very important first step because you're starting to release feel-good chemicals in your body, which will help you to feel more confident when it's time to give your presentation. The second thing to do within that 24-hour period before your presentation, after you've written your note, make sure you're doing something fun. fun. Be it watching your favorite sitcom on television, do something fun to make you laugh, to help release more feel-good chemicals in your body. Whatever you do, make sure it does not take up hours of your time. It needs to be a burst of fun to give you a nice hit of dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good chemical that helps people to feel uplifted and excited. That's what you want when it's time for your presentation, especially if you're experiencing anxiety about giving your presentation. Sometimes people ask, well, do I still want a hit of dopamine if my presentation topic isn't so upbeat? My response to that is, the self-care practice is to manage anxiety about giving the presentation. Therefore, if your goal is to feel confident about giving the presentation, regardless of what the topic is, engage in these dopamine increasing activities to help you take care of yourself. The third thing, 24 hours before your presentation, once you've written your note and done something fun, make sure you do things to get a good night's sleep. This is what I mean. Whenever I am getting ready to give a presentation, I make sure I put fresh linen on my bed. I'll spray a little bit of magnesium on my sheets. I'll have eucalyptics hanging in my shower or some type of shower balm to make my shower smell good. I'll use lavender scented lotions. I'll do a face mask. I will give myself a total spa treatment to help me relax and get a good night's sleep. Those are 3 important steps to take 24 hours before your speech. Write yourself an encouraging message, do something fun, and have a relaxation routine to help you get some good sleep the night before your presentation. So you do all of that before the presentation. Now it's time for the presentation and maybe that nervousness is trying to creep in. Here are 3 things you're going to do while you're giving your presentation to stay calm and confident. Now, to manage anxiety during your presentation, there are a few resources you need to get before the presentation starts. One of those resources is a small bottle of water. When you notice your stomach is starting to get into knots or you're starting to overthink and spiral into self-doubt, take a swig of your water. Here's why the water helps. Number 1, it will help to fight off dry mouth. Number 2, the simple act of moving your hand up to your mouth and tilting your head back a little bit, those movements are controlled and help to relieve the anxiety. 3, the sensation of the water going down your throat will help shift your focus from whatever is contributing to you feeling anxious to what's happening in your body, which gives you time to ground yourself. If it seems like taking a sip of water was not enough to help ground you, in other words, when people feel anxious, their thoughts are all over the place. They don't feel like they can collect themselves. And being grounded means that you're collected and focused. If that doesn't happen once you take a sip of water, the next thing you can do is have some ice available. Touch the ice. An ice pack is ideal. Touch the ice. That will help to ground you. That will help to shift your focus from whatever is, this is cold. From whatever is contributing to the anxious thoughts to what's happening with the ice, and it will help to regulate your nervous system. You don't have to hold ice in your hand like I did. All you need to do is touch it. That's why I recommended an ice pack. Touch something cold that helps to regulate your nervous system, helps you to feel calm, and helps you to manage the anxiety you're experiencing. If you still feel like you need to manage anxiety in the moment while you're giving your speech after you've taken a swig of water and you've touched the ice pack, the third thing you can do is wiggle your toes in your shoes. Nobody can see it. That's a controlled way for you to relieve anxiety and help you to ground yourself so that you can collect your thoughts and focus on giving your presentation. Those are 3 self-care techniques. Why are they considered self-care techniques? Number 1, proper hydration helps the fluids in our bodies to circulate properly. Touching the ice pack is a form of self-care because when people feel anxious, their blood pressure changes, their heart rate changes, there are more stress hormones released into the body. Well, touching the ice pack is similar to stepping into a cool pool of water. It helps to relax you. Although touching the ice pack might feel intense because of the cold temperature, it's still distracting your mind from the racing thoughts. Then wiggling your toes in your shoes is a form of self-care because it's a private way for you to deal with what's going on inside of your body. Now, sometimes, despite all of the things people have done to prepare for their presentation and all of the things they've done during their presentation to regulate their nervous system, when the presentation is over, some people feel worked up about what happened during the presentation. This is called post-performance anxiety. Even if you do not experience post-performance anxiety, it is still a good idea to engage in self-care practices once your speech is over. The first thing you are going to do as an act of self-care immediately after you say the last word in your presentation is to hydrate. Proper hydration helps to get the fluids circulating in your body, which reduces the amount of stress hormones released into the body. And remember, this subtle act, those subtle movements help to release any type of nervousness that might try to present itself once you're done giving your speech. The second thing you're going to do is immediately feed the reward center in your brain. Write down one thing you did well during your presentation, even if that one thing is, I showed up. And you must do this because oftentimes people think about what they could have done better. When you immediately write down things that you did well, at least one thing you did well, that helps to fight off all of those intrusive thoughts about what did not go like you think could have gone better. The second thing you're going to do is have fun again. At some point, after you've given your presentation, within a 24-hour window of having given your presentation, have fun. Get a hit of dopamine. Do something to make you laugh, move your body, anything you consider fun. The third and final self-care act after giving your presentation is to tell yourself, thank you for taking good care of you. As we are finishing up this conversation, I want to say thank you to you for engaging in this conversation with me. And the whole point is to take care of yourself, to manage public speaking anxiety. When I say to take care of yourself, to manage public speaking anxiety, start 24 hours before, do things during the presentation, and make sure you do things after the presentation to take care of you. Always remember, public speaking is a skill that can be learned. With the right self-care techniques, you can manage public speaking anxiety, show up as the most confident version of yourself, and give a wonderful presentation. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not already a member of our community. I share techniques every week to help you feel confident about speaking up, sharing your valuable input, and getting the respect you deserve as a knowledgeable and credible professional. Until we speak again, do something today and every day to help make your greatest ambition your greatest accomplishment.